2004, where France won by 2-1. Let's welcome in, shall we, Julien Laurent with us, as is Alexis.
I love the first one there.
Maiden.
The first guy. It's bloody coming home. The bloody right it is. Put kettle on.
Oh, fair play. Alexis, they seem to be genuinely optimistic, which surprises me.
Yeah, Dan, I was a little bit surprised. I only saw or heard from one fan that was the voice of reason that said, calma, calma, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Because as we said, Nadam, it is Kylian Mbappe and France. And yes, England have looked impressive up to here. They've only conceded the 2 goals. But Kylian Mbappe is a player of a different caliber. And as the guys were talking, him accepting this role to lead France, this is a match that he lives for, isn't it? How do England stop him?
Yeah, I think that is the case. But for as much as he could be a game winner, it's not a guarantee to say that that's what he will do. I think for France as well, they have to be able to defend well. And, you know, speaking with Julien, we spent a lot of time together. And before before the tournament started, you know, he was telling me about some of the potential issues that, say, France have. Maybe there's a little bit of an issue defensively. So Mbappe, I think, has done really well in the tournament. But I think some of that comes because he's playing like alongside Theo Hernandez. I think the way that they work together down that left-hand side is very, very significant. It's a prominent part of their attack. But I think Julien would say himself, Hernandez isn't the best defensively. So there is the other side to the game where, you know, the assumption will be that they just bomb forward, bomb forward, bomb forward. But it's a two-way game. Yeah. So I think some France do have some weaknesses. But in Mbappe, you know, he's without doubt one of the quickest players in world football. There are probably 1 or 2 that may be quicker than him. I personally don't think Kyle Walker is that. So when somebody says it'll be in the back pocket, I'm not so sure about that. But for me, in terms of the strategy that sort of England will take forward in terms of trying to exploit the weaknesses that they have, then it's great. You know, it makes for a very, very good match. Mbappe will likely be the best player on the field. That's fine. But it doesn't mean that France are definitely going to win because of it, because England have their own ideas, they have their own strategy. And if they want to be able to defend against Mbappe, you need to defend against Mbappe and those other people around him. And I think, in fairness to Gareth Southgate and to the players, I think some of the British press or the English press were very quick at saying that England are getting ready for France and they're disregarding Senegal. Yeah. But I think for the way that management is and those players are, it's one game at a time, and they'll be really focusing in on making sure they do the good job.
The English press getting ahead of themselves? Not very like them.
It was, yeah, listen, it was ridiculous. I had to speak somewhere today, and they were talking about how you shouldn't play Kyle Walker in this game because you need to rest him for the France game. And I was like, it felt embarrassing to even be discussing something like that.
Not like England fans or supporters to get ahead of themselves.
I must say, sorry to jump in, but most of the England fans I've seen here have been perfectly reasonable. I don't know if that's to do with the alcohol, but they've been perfectly...
Or the lack thereof.
Yes, but they've been perfectly reasonable. And it's good to see them positive, because I think it's very easy to sort of be very negative about that England side. But for now, people went to the game. They were a bit bored in the first 20, 30. Yeah. But come the end of it, they very much enjoyed it.
So England basically have everything it takes, even defensively, to deal with France?
Well, I think that it's a game between 2 imperfect sides. And as a consequence, you know, there are going to be little details that will make the difference. And France are the reigning champions, but England are a side who feel supremely confident because they kind of understand what they need to do to win games these days. So I think, as I say, I keep saying it, but I think it's going to be a fantastic game and arguably one of the best ones of the tournament, I predict.
A game between 2 imperfect sides, Dan. Sounds almost poetic, doesn't it?
Certainly does, coming from you, Alexis. Thank you very much. Looking at it.
I honestly think it's a lot. I don't see the negativity any in this England team. I don't. Okay, maybe the fans were talking about Harry Maguire. You don't want that match-up, really. You don't want him isolated with Mbappe. Going back to Walker, you know, he's a wee bit older and he's had his injury problems, but he's still quick. However, you know, you still fancy Mbappe if he's isolated. But I would be I don't understand your negativity.
Mbappe is the problem, isn't it? Because you feel if Mbappe
I understand.
It brings...
But so's Kane the problem and Foden's the problem. That's how you got to look at it.
They're not the same level, though, is it? That's the thing.
No. But maybe England have got a little bit more about their armoury. Maybe. Griezmann's not had the greatest season. Right. All right, Olivier Giroud has now broke the record. Would you take Giroud over Harry Kane? Don't think so. Mbappe is the difference. For me, this game is a super, super tight game, particularly after what I saw from England today going forward. And I don't think it's now a difficult decision. We know Raheem Sterling's gone back to the UK for the time being to deal with personal matters. We don't know what that situation is. Yeah. However, I don't think it's a difficult decision for Gareth Southgate, all things being equal fitness-wise, what his front line is going to be.
Would you play the same starting 11 that played against Senegal?
I would, yes.
Right.
I would, yes. I'd play the same back four, and I would play that midfield because it's got a little bit of everything in it. And I don't see. Yeah, and I heard the argument for Marcus Rashford. For me, I thought Saka was always going to play.
Right.
I thought
lovely finish.
I thought it was Foden or Rashford, and I didn't know which way he was going to go. He chose the right way. I don't think that will change for the French game.
I think he shouldn't, because I think they showed that they work well together. The fact that Foden started the game and showed his talent and did 2 assists today.
Yes.
Proved that he should play and should carry on. I think they're strong enough in the middle of the park. It was funny to see the young guys, talking about Maguire putting Mbappe in his pocket. Well, I'm not sure about that, but I remember a game, City against Paris Saint-Germain, where Walker was really on top of Mbappe for those games, where Mbappe couldn't cope with the pace of Walker, couldn't make the difference, which is huge when you have to compete against Mbappe. But Mbappe, of the game that I saw, with Mbappe that we see now, is a different Mbappe.
Right.
Now, again, I agree with Craig. I think it's going to be a tight game because the two offensive lines are really the assets of the two teams. Defensively, they're both struggling and they both make mistakes, and we see every game chances for the other. The Polish, they had chances before the first goal of Giroud, a big chance, and this was the same for England against Senegal. So it's guessing that it's going to be easy for France or the other way around, that football is coming home, that's being a little bit too optimistic.
I think we can ban that for the moment. I think that's okay.
Be humble like French people a little bit in England.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.